Hey y'all, welcome to the Why Podcast, where why is always the question, and you're in the closet with Celeste Frey, and I am so happy to be here with y'all. Some wounds don't just hurt, they humiliate. Even when the survivor was the victim, they're the one carrying the shame. Today we're diving into something heavy, something sacred, and something too many people carry in silence. Today's why is raw and real. Why do sexual abuse survivors feel embarrassed? And more importantly, how do we get free from a shame that was never ours to carry? Now, I really wanted to talk about this. I just recorded a video discussing the importance of being truthful and telling the truth. I have a theme going where it's always about being truthful, whatever you're carrying in your life. So I want to start off with my 8 points, of course. Starting off with my first point, abuse attacks identity at its core. When someone is violated, it doesn't just touch the body, it bruises the soul. That experience can make survivors feel like they're damaged, tainted, or less than. And even though they didn't cause it, they feel like they became it. I know I felt like that for years because I kept getting abused and then I was eventually raped. And for me, I blamed myself and I didn't even do anything. I mean, at instances, I'm 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old. What the hell could I have done besides exist and play with some damn dolls? And I want to be clear because I know I learned this in acting school. We people, especially myself, I do this a lot. When you're frustrated or angry or disappointed or whatever it is, sometimes we will laugh it off. You know, like I just did earlier. And it's not that I think anything is funny. This is not the most comfortable conversation to have, but it's the most necessary one because it's happening so much around the world in families and outside of families, and no one wants to talk about it. Which is why this week I'm doing a whole series of so many things that just need to be truthfully spoken. So if I offend anyone, by all means, that is not my goal here. It's just to educate and to have a conversation. And as I'm recording all of these videos, I'll leave it there. And to have a conversation. My next point is that society often blames the victim. How were you dressed? Why didn't you say no louder? Why didn't you leave? These questions subtly or blatantly shift responsibility from the abuser to the abused. No wonder survivors stay silent. The world is quicker to accuse than to comfort. I stayed silent. I remember when I was raped. I blamed myself every day. Why did I skip school that day? Why did I trust childhood associates that, as friends and go to their home? And the situation was appeared to be so innocent. It appeared to be so innocent. It's like I skipped school. I know we had a long lunch, so I really was going to be late coming back from lunch, and I wanted to go way over town, whatever. But I saw some childhood, middle schooler. We used to go to school together, and it was like, yo, hey, what's up, Celeste? I'm like, yo, hey, what y'all up to? What you up to? Nah, I'm at the school. Maybe you come hang out with us for a little bit. And I'm like, I guess, really innocent. Didn't think nothing of it. And that's how I got. And I remember, the only people that I did tell at that time were my friends, because the guy said, yeah, and watch out for a blue, tell so-and-so and so-and-so, we gonna get them too. So I needed to tell them because I didn't want that to happen to them. What kind of friend would I be if I didn't go and immediately say, hey, this happened to me and they're plotting on you all next. and I was just like, damn, what did I do it really bothered my mind, because I'm like, what did I do to deserve this? I had gone through enough sexual abuse as a child by 3 different men over a number of years. And here I am, a teenager just got into high school, and then this happens. It just shattered me. It broke me inside. I just felt so ashamed. I blamed myself. I felt unloved, unwanted. I felt like I was just here to be life's punching bag, honestly. That's how I felt. But thank God for God, for speaking to me and getting me through all that I have gotten through, that I've gone through. It's only because of the Most High that I'm here today, in my right mind, healthy, able to speak to you about something, the abuse that I had to go through. And the only reason why I'm open to speaking about this, I know there's more people out here, men and women, boys and girls, that are going through this, and they don't have anyone to talk to or to turn to. And they're blaming themselves. And it's not their fault. My next point is that abusers manipulate the narrative. Abusers are often in power. They're either family, coaches, partners, pastors, and they are gaslighting them to make victims feel like they're overreacting, imagining it, or even guilty. I remember when I was supposed to join the track team in my neighborhood. This is before I went to high school, so I think I was in the 8th grade. And that's when I started learning how to feel spirits, how to feel that nasty spirit on people. I went to track practice with my homegirl. She was on the team. And the coach, he didn't seem cool to me. He said something was off. And I remember we were stretching, and he was looking at the girl's shorts. Y'all know when we run track, them shorts are kind of short. I knew in that moment he was that way, and if he could get me alone, because I had already went through enough. I said, nah, if I'm left alone with this man, he gonna try to get me. So I said, nah. I told her I'm gonna go ahead and leave a little early. I did not join the team because I refused to put myself in that situation. And it's interesting because, when I think about people that are, that like the other sex, that like same sex, whether you say they're homosexual or gay or whatever, not all of them have gone through sexual abuse or rape or whatnot, but a number of them have by the same sex or the opposite sex. And I say that because I remember the guys that raped me, they said, we did so-and-so also. She identifies more as a, trans male these days, or more so as a, she goes that way. She only likes to deal with women. I know a lot of friends that went through sexual abuse, and they don't like to deal with men. They like to deal with women. And I remember even my friend that was on the track team, I could tell, I don't know if it was him, I think it was him. I don't know if she said it later on, because I think she said, why do you want to join the team? I said, he's weird. I think she did say he had been touching on them and all the girls on the team. And I said, that's not what, tell your mom, and of course, as well as an adult, and, when she got a little older, that's what she identified with, as, more so playing for the other team. She more so only want to deal with women. She don't like me. But this is what a lot of the times that comes from that, unfortunately. Not all the time, but I've met so many where it has. I say that to say it's unfortunate how we have to keep these things within us, and it eats at us and we feel guilty. That kind of mental manipulation that an abuser has can make survivors question everything, especially their own innocence. I know when I told what was happening to me, I was told the very first time that I told my mom that my cousin had been sexually abusing me, I was told I was a liar. And that, for me, it hurt. My mom didn't tell me I was a liar. It was the family around her that was telling her, she lying. Don't believe that little girl. That made me always be truthful all the time. I wasn't a liar before then, but if you wanted as a baby, I'm telling it. Even if I would get the brakes beat off of me, I'm telling it. But I also felt alone. So I didn't tell about the other abuse that others were doing to me, when I was younger. I told only about one abuser because it was like, so why tell about what the others are doing if nothing was really, truly done or could be done from him? So when I got sexually abused by someone that had stayed with us in our home, a teenage boy, and then by a teacher, it was just like, well, what can really happen? What's going to really happen? Which is another thing, is that silence is taught early. Many children are told, don't tell family business. Just pray about it. Get out. Oh, this is the worst one. Get over it. Get over it. I don't even know how I got into it. The culture of secrecy creates an inner prison where shame grows in the dark. I didn't ask for this, yet I gotta be shameful. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I am no longer shameful because I didn't do a damn thing. Whoever, all those abusers, if they still alive, can burn in hell. Go on here about your business. And hopefully they have gotten caught. One got caught. I don't know how long he was in jail, but I'm serious. Which brings me to my next point, is that the body remembers what the mind can't explain. Even if someone tries to forget, their body still holds trauma, triggers, tension, flinching at touch. These can all feel embarrassing. When they don't make sense to others, yes, it's going to be embarrassing. Survivors often feel ashamed of their trauma response, even though it's perfectly valid. For me, it was certain smells or stories that triggered me. And when I say stories, if I hear about somebody else, something happened to someone else, or a baby or a kid, oh my gosh, it saddens me beyond belief. Because I can't do anything about it. And I know those babies are just going through it, and it's like, damn. It frustrates me. It frustrates me what it is. It makes me sad. And so that's why I can only say, like, what it really does is it's triggering. Sometimes I'm like, I can't hear about that right now. I can't listen to that right now because I know what's going on. And it's not like me being oblivious to something. It's just that if I hear a news story of this happen, I just get, some of the things I've heard, I'm just like, oh my gosh. Because some kids don't even survive. And it's sad. My next point is they feel like they should have known better. How, as a victim, should I have known better? Especially in adult cases. Survivors beat themselves up with, how could I have missed the red flags? I should have known. That self-blame turns into internalized shame. When the reality is no one asked to be abused. You didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to walk into a room and to be pulled in somewhere and abused. And as an adult, I try my damnedest not to put myself in situations, but how do I know? For me, I can only go off the energy and the frequency in the room. If I feel something that's, let me go. But I'm an older adult who's growing to be an even older adult, if be the highest, who's growing to be an even older adult, if it be the Most High's will. But when I was a young adult, oh my gosh, I'm like, oh my gosh, what situations did I put myself in? I'm supposed to be going to the studio, and these guys were plotting on me, and thank God I felt it. I felt something wasn't right. Something just, and I got my butt out of there. So, this brings me to point 7. There's fear of not being believed. So many survivors say nothing because they fear ridicule, disbelief, or dismissal. And it hurts. It hurts. Because you've gone through this situation you didn't ask for, and now you're being made fun of, or you told you're a liar. I remember going through that as a little girl. All I had to depend on was the father. And not to say my mom was, she just didn't know what to do. I remember the look on her face. She just felt so helpless. Here she is, a single mom, trying to do her best. And my cousin had been babysitting us, and to find out that her daughter said he had been sexually abusing her. Oh my goodness. What do I do now? Man, the embarrassment of having your pain minimized or questioned can feel worse than the event itself. And that fear keeps countless voices quiet. It is so true. Again, I didn't say anything about the other times I had been abused because I was just like, well, it was nothing that could really be done, or nothing was done, or what. I don't know. You know, I'm in one instance, like what happened, you know, my mother was like, okay, well, he's not going to babysit us anymore. You know, instead, my grandmother's going to babysit us more often than not. But guess where he lived? Guess who he lived with? My grandma in the basement. So it's like, well, so I'm still kind of going to the lion's den in a sense. And my mom is a single mom. What can she do? She can't quit her job. You need a place to live. Got to pay the rent and the bills and food. So it's just like, it was, you know, trying to understand that as a child, it was like, it was a lot on my little brain. I just turned to the Father in my spirit. I did. That's why my relationship with the Father grew. And he has brought me through so much. Healing requires exposure, and that feels terrifying. To heal, survivors have to talk about it, to confront it, to name what happened. But shame whispers. If you tell them, they'll see you differently. And that whisper keeps people locked in suffering they don't deserve. I personally chose to share bits of my story to help whoever out there is suffering. I've done the work, and I continue to do the work every day. And I leave it all on the table. It doesn't have power over me, which is why I choose to share and confront and ask and share any self-talk any of you are having with yourselves that isn't positive or trying to silence you. Don't let it silence you. Don't silence yourself. These predators need to be taken care of, off the streets, in jail, somewhere, because you don't want it to continue happening. So in closing, embarrassment doesn't belong to the survivor. It belongs to the abuser. But until we normalize conversations about sexual trauma, until we believe, support, and uplift survivors, shame will keep disguising itself as silence. If this is your story, know this. You didn't cause it. You didn't deserve it. And you don't have to carry the embarrassment anymore. Your healing is holy. Speak your truth and keep walking toward your freedom. So I'm going to leave y'all with this as always. Question everything. Start with why. Because why is always the question. And I'm not